Hello, everybody. Bill McRea here. Looks like we are live, and yeah, maybe we're a minute early, but that's pretty typical of me. This is my Superman shirt. No, this is my wife, Laura McRae. This is where law firm she works at, which is called MDJW. So I got this shirt, and I thought, well, I'll put that on today. And then didn't realize it was a Superman symbol. A great idea for a law firm. Good marketing, I guess. My dogs are outside, the door is shut. They're all asleep. So hopefully they don't go ballistic again like they have been the last few weeks. I've got some new things to show you. Now I'm going to go over the latest news. People are always wondering what keywords you should use for building a website with something like AI traffic secrets or massive passive AI or any of these tools. Doesn't really matter. And the real trick to making them work is to be able to select keywords that generate content, but also tend to be more buyer oriented. And it's not really that hard to do, but people seem to struggle with it. So I created a new tool, which is going to be free. Everyone can use it. I'm going to show it to you. As soon as I get this set up right. Great. Okay, so here is my blog, and you'll see over here, buyer keyword. Click on that. It's free. You'll have to join my email list. You're already on it, so it doesn't really matter. And what makes keywords buyer keywords? There's not a keyword, it is a keyword phrase. And it's something that shows the intent of who's searching for it. So maybe in a big guitar guy, let me go. I wanted to build a website about Gibson. I could type. Guitar, right? So just type in that base keyword and tell it to generate. So what this is going to do is it's going to use AI, and it's going to go out and find 10 keywords. You can do this, I think, twice a day for free, 3 times per day for free. So it comes out Gibson versus Fender. It's commercial investigation intent. Somebody's pretty serious. Someone that writes buy Gibson SG standard, they're ready to buy something. Somebody goes Gibson ES355 price, they're ready to buy some. Best Gibson guitar for blues, that's solving a problem, but it also tends to lead towards, I'm probably going to buy something because you're searching for the best guitar for blues, right? So then maybe you're just doing research, but maybe you're just trying to find a solution to a problem. But if you're trying to buy a Gibson guitar for the blues, which one's the best? The answer to that is entirely up to you. I like the Gibson Les Paul for that. A Gibson store nearby. It's obviously a local keyword. Now, the thing is, if you own a store, that's a whole lot easier to rank for if you're selling Gibson guitars than trying to rank for Gibson guitar in San Antonio. So people are going to search for who's got Gibson guitars near me. Same thing with the discount code. It's transactional. I mean, someone wants to buy. This is something most people never think about. Okay, so when I'm uh, shopping online, I always go to Google and, well, I don't anymore. I have a Chrome extension, but I always look for coupon codes. And I got a Chrome extension that does it for me automatically. Um, you can rank for Gibson Les Paul discount code much easier to get the Gibson Les Paul. And the thing is you could put a bunch of codes up there that are uh, expired or don't exist. It doesn't really matter. Get them to your site, cookie them, and then sell them under another thing. The Gibson guitar under $2,000. Price again is important. It shows buyer intent. When they're looking for reviews of any type, that shows they're investigating, they're ready to buy something. Same with Gibson versus Fender. Trying to decide, what do we want? Okay, Gibson or Fender? Okay, now I've decided on Gibson. Let's look at a Les Paul standard. Where do I buy? Transactional. Gibson guitars for immediate players. Another problem-solving question. So you can see that you can use this tool for free and then come along, copy those keywords, add them into your keyword list. If you're at all familiar with using, well, let me just show you. That's probably the best way to do it. Okay, so I'm going to log into my blog and called Autoblogger Keywords. So how this differs than other tools is you just dump in a bunch of keywords. And what you do is you do research with the tool like I have, and you copy and paste it in here. Then it goes through randomly picks things. If something has been used, it's marked used, and won't use it till next week. Queued means it's ready. It's probably something I'll select soon. So what you'll do with something like this is you can copy these, or you can export, copy all or export, and put them all into the queue so that your site is constantly selecting different versions of keywords that are buyer keywords. They're more likely to show intent to purchase. Very, very, very cool stuff. And you get all this for your email address, and you could go to ChatGPT and do the same research. Or my preferred tool is Claude, where I'm going to go through a presentation next where I'm going to talk about what's happening in AI this last 7 days. It always fascinates me how quickly everything is evolving. There's things going on with every AI company out there, and there are going to be some big failures. I'm convinced of that. I picked my winners, and obviously some of the companies are supported by huge outfits like Google Gemini. I mean, that's not going to fail. It's Google's huge. It may not be as good a tool as Claude. Perplexity is another one, supported by, I think it's Meta. Manus is supported by Meta too. Those guys aren't going to fail. But there are a lot of little smaller AI things. I tried to develop them myself, and I got in trouble with the Facebook because I was using Facebook as a source of data, and they didn't like that at all, and they banned me for life from Facebook. So I don't have a Facebook account. I guess you got to learn a lesson. If you're going to pick a fight, don't pick a fight with someone bigger than you, right? And I just thought it was ridiculous that they, as I looked through their privacy agreement, same thing with X, same thing with LinkedIn. All your content that you post on there does not belong to you, it belongs to the platform. You have no right to your own content because they use that content to train their models, and by declaring that they are the rightful owners of it, it helps them prevent any lawsuits in terms of copyright infringement, stuff like that. And I crossed that path with Meta, and they said no more crawling our site, which they blocked, and no more you on our site, which they blocked. And I thought, well, I'll just get another account. No. When Meta jumps you, you don't get another account. It doesn't work that way. They're very, very, very good at keeping you from getting another account. So, yeah, that's the way that goes. Don't piss off Zuckerberg or really any of the big guys. I mean, it could have been Elon Musk that I crosshairs with. It wouldn't have mattered. Okay, my wife works in law, so we thought, here's a chance to fight a big guy and make a bunch of money. And as we read through our discovery, we just figured it out. No, you're on their platform. You have to abide by whatever the hell they tell you is their rules. And they make it very clear you're not allowed to do what I was doing. So I subsequently gave up creating my own AI platform, and I use other AI systems to generate my content. But it's not something that comes from my personal AI engine. It's just my personal AI software. I'm using OpenAI and mostly Claude nowadays for all the content that our systems generate. And I prefer Claude because A, it's less expensive, and B, I think the content's better. I really do. Okay. During the last week, there've been, if you try to keep track of what's going on in AI, there's a lot going on every week. And there's new things and money and small changes that seem like, so what? But in reality, they are actually very substantially important. I'm going to go through a slide presentation. The big things that we're going to talk about this week are, quite frankly, Anthropic and Microsoft. Microsoft, their big AI is going to be called Copilot. You probably run into it. Copilot's supposedly going to be built into all their tools. I have guys who've said it's wonderful. My wife uses it at her work. They have a legal version, I guess, they can use for like verifying contracts and finding citations for legal arguments, stuff like that. So they can actually, instead of spending 800 hours doing research to support their legal actions, they can do it in a matter of minutes. They don't use it for writing any of their contracts or whatever their responses are to courts, but they do use it to edit those things to make sure that things are going, that make sure that there's nothing they write that is against any of the existing precedents and court laws out there. So Copilot has got a program just specifically for that. I think several of the other ones do too. Does that mean your legal costs are going to go down? No way in hell. Attorneys, their prices don't go down. But it is, kind of what it is. Anthropic, there's a lot going on with Anthropic. There's potential IPO coming up. They've got new releases, and it's just the new release. I haven't even really had a chance to test it yet. It's what's it called? It's model 4.8. They call it um, Opus 4.8. I was just looking over here at Claude, and I wasn't even using Claude. I was using Haiku or whatever one of the models were, because I was just doing something that I didn't need it to be really deeply intelligent. And I'll tell you something about Claude too. You have Claude, you got Claude Cowork, which is amazing, and then you got Claude Code. So for coding, we use Claude Code, and for like agentic purposes, like I have it go out and check my emails for me and let me know of any customer issues or anything with advertising I'm running. Claude Cowork does that. I have it manage or maintain or update our pay-per-click campaigns to tell me that what our ROI is every day. And if our return on ad spend is not at least 200%, then we review the ads and maybe rewrite them or remove them, whatever we want to do to improve that. Because it takes that sort of daily management. And you can hire firms to do that. You could do it yourself. I mean, I'm busy doing this, busy doing this, busy doing that. Writing pay-per-click ads has never been something I've really profited on a whole lot because I didn't have that constant attention. But that's what it takes. So you could do that stuff with Claude. You could take Claude Cowork and manage your investing portfolio using uh, Jakarta, I believe it is called. Uh, and you can actually set up rules and it can trade for you. So the way I trade is when stock goes up 5%, that becomes a new floor. If it goes up, every time it goes up 5%, it becomes a new floor. If it drops below that floor, I sell. So I'm never going to fall down to the prior level. I'm always going to be at the level I'm at or lower. As soon as it starts to climb, I start buying again. It does all that for you. So if you're investing, it will minimize your losses on those trades that are going down because you have a floor, and it will maximize your gains because it will always reset the floor as you go higher. You set all that up in Claude Code and manage it with Claude Coworker. You can turn $10,000 into $60,000 in a year. I'm not going to teach you how to do it because I really don't know how to do it yet myself. But it's something I'm working on because the guys are very successful with it. And as I study their methods, I get a little overwhelmed by the potential for Claude Cowork. Claude Code, I understand. Claude Cowork is the agentic portion of Claude. Now, Microsoft has a connection with GitHub. GitHub is it's kind of like the main communication hub for programming. Okay, I don't have a GitHub account because I don't coordinate with people all over the world. But these large companies, they have a location that manages all their versions, work assignments. Code isn't created by one guy like this, which is how I create code. But I'm not, my programs are simple compared to building a program like Microsoft Word or whatever. So GitHub is that central location that handles a ton of the work, and they built in Copilot into it. And I guess it really keeps things organized. I'm going to go through these presentations. Cloud Opus 4.8, that's what I just talked about. Today is June 3. It's been out for 4 days. and I haven't really done much with it. I have a project I had to fix. I had a client and had some software, and they go, "Bill, this is not working." I looked at it, and I go, "Yeah, it's not working." So I just took the software, tossed it into Cloud Code, described the problem, and 10 minutes later it said, "Here, it's fixed." So I downloaded it, installed it, and it was fixed. It was fixed. It used to take a lot more work to do that. You used to have to go back and forth 15 times to debug a piece of software. With Cloud Chat or Cloud Code, it didn't really matter. You had to go back and forth uh, and make it work. So that supposedly nowadays with Claude Opus 4.8, it's just got much better ability to handle those sort of issues. It's got much sharper with their judgment and much more honest. Now, it's hard to think about the fact that if you go to an AI and you ask it a question, are you going to get an honest answer? Well, no. Most of the time it's pretty good. But the fact is, all these AIs are always going to be subject to the sensibility of the developers. So if you're looking for like a conservative perspective on something, OpenAI is not going to give you a lot of help. It will. I mean, you're going to have to force it out of it. If you're going to do some research on conservative issues, I cannot recommend OpenAI for that. I'd use Claude. And what's happening is Claude's becoming more honest. And when you get into some deep questions, like you could have a serious physical or debate with all the AIs about their position on faith. I'm a deep Christian. I have strong beliefs. So I tend to occasionally get into these philosophical debates about Jesus with OpenAI or Claude. And I've read the Bible several times. I know what's going on. You know, I kind of understand what's going on or what happened or what's the real story. And when you start seeing things that are not quite right, especially when you're querying on Old Testament stuff, that is OpenAI. Claude is much, much better. It's more likely to give you the straight answer. And if there's any uncertainties, they're now giving you the citation that you can click on, and they'll say this is really unsupported claims. You know, when you talk about, let's say, something like life after death, something of, you know, or how does quantum mechanics impact consciousness? I think they're all the same, honestly, but fact is, there's a lot of debate. You can turn Claude loose on a project, Claude Cowork. I have it over here. It's managing my investing, I hope. So I gave it a small amount of money to run this, and it's doing really well, but I'm still not 100% ready to go. Here's all my investments, manage them all. I started with a small amount of money just to see what the results have been. And like I've made about 10% in 3 months. That's extraordinary. But I realize stock market in general has been really good this last year. And I think it's going to continue to be good. So it really does a good job of just taking care of things. I never have to worry about missing any emails. If I need an Excel sheet coming from QuickBooks, which is how I manage my finances, I can just have, if there's a connection in Cloud Cowork to QuickBooks, and I could just say, every day download current liquidity, liabilities, What do I need to worry about? And it will go connect up to QuickBooks, which automatically runs by syncing with my bank, and I can see like that what's going on in the business. Is it up? Is it down? It's not like it used to be, but we're still doing okay. The pay-per-click stuff is helping. Um, we're just letting things run now, where you used to have to go log into QuickBooks, go through there, figure out their system, do an analysis based on raw data. Now you can have Cloud Coworker. You define the analysis process. It will go connect to QuickBooks, download the report, and tell you every day where you stand. So when you come in the morning, you got your dashboard here, which is a little bit over there, and you can see everything you need to know about what's going on in your business from a financial perspective. And even from revenue side, you can see numbers. You can't tell you anything more significant than that. Like I talk about, Claude Code has gotten more and more powerful too. A big part of what you got to do to make Claude work right is to create the system using Claude Code. That's where you take the API codes from the platform that's going to be managing your investments, and you feed them into that, and you give it a set of instructions, and it creates essentially a program, if you will, in the cloud environment for your account. And then Cowork, you say, use this program created by Claude, and this account that I use for buying and selling stocks, and follow those rules. And Cowork takes that program that you've created, and it executes it according to your specific requirements, and it does it all night long. Because we're looking at, as stocks go up and down, we're looking at buy and sell based on movements. They used to call them signals. That's probably what we still call them. I've never been a big stock investor because I had a lot of stock because I owned my own company for many years, and my own major company, a large wholesale business, is $1 billion business. So it was, a lot going on. So now with the dynamic workflows with Claude, you can have Claude developing you multiple different applications, Claude Code, or tell it within a code request a very complex set of instructions covering different parts or different pieces of whatever system you're developing, and it will develop for you. So I developed mostly WordPress plugins and PHP-based software, like that little keyword generating thing. That was 5 minutes of work because I thought, okay, let's give our customers something for free. I can use it for lead generation. I'm just offering it for free, just like a bunch of stuff, because you get in my sales funnel, and I found you to buy money, to give me money, to buy products. So let's go on to the next slide here. Yeah, Opus right now is the same cost as 4.7. They ain't gonna last very long. MAI is it's Microsoft's OpenAI. See, Microsoft using Copilot draws on OpenAI, just like a lot of my programs do. What they're doing now is creating their own database, their own large language model that they can pull from, just to reduce the amount of money that's going on. So you can see the type of things that you can do to change how you're using computes at an AI company, like OpenAI in this case. And because you're developing your own AI, you're going to buy less from them. So I can see how some people, investing in AI stocks would be concerned that, yeah, they're doing great now, but are they going to continue? Um, or is it going to just disappear? Windows AM models, this is going to be on your Windows computers. It's like a desktop AI. Okay, so it's there on your computer. Apple's doing the same thing. I can't remember what it's called. So they've just released their first version of that. And it's integrated in with their web browser. So if you're using Edge, I think that's their current version of Internet Explorer is called Edge. They're going to have that built in, so that you can see I can't. I have Claude built into my web browser. Sorry. And they're going to have their AI on Ion, I guess. Ships in the box with Windows. You don't buy Windows in the box. I remember back, I don't know, not that long ago, that I used to go to Fry's Electronics. Remember them? They're gone now. And it was like even, It's a Wonderful World or whatever that was called. Even, it was like an event to go to Fry's. We'd go there, you'd have your credit card with no money on it, and you go through, and there's every electronic this and all the software. We'd walk rows and rows and rows looking for software and trying to hem and haw about buying this or that, upgrading to this, and you'd buy the box. And about 15 years ago, it was like, no, we just download it. And you had to buy all the upgrades too. Now everything upgrades for free until new version comes out. Like this, like new versions of the Windows operating system don't run on my 2023 iMac I have because it needs the M4 chip, and I have not the Intel chip, the M4 chip, yeah, and I have the Intel on this particular iMac. Maybe I bought it in 2020. I think I bought it in 2023. So I have to buy a new computer to be able to use all that functionality. So there's always those sort of physical limitations between operating systems and equipment. But once you've got the right level of equipment, all the upgrades are for free. You used to go buy them. I remember I had Windows 3 and then I think Microsoft 95. Windows 95 came out. Windows 95 was a great operating system. I'm like, yeah, this is what we want. It was just, 10,000 years ago. I think about it now. It was literally 30 years ago. I still had hair. I wasn't retired. You got Solara too. Solara is like the connector between wearables and AI. It's a cloud-based platform. And let's say they're coming out with all these wearables. You've heard about the glasses. These are real glasses. But I would buy Google glasses if I could see through them. And that suppose is coming out where I have one pair of glasses where everything changes to fit your vision sequence, because AI can do that, I guess. It's a little hard to keep up with all this shit. Um, so Solara is part of the connection between the wearable equipment and the computer. It's follow you across devices, so you could put it on. And there's like these clips, like especially for let's say you're working at a big company and you have it's an identity clip, and you go from room to room, it tracks what you're doing. So the final thing we're going to touch on real quick is I got more slides, but Marjoram 2, which is a quantum chip. And the whole goal here, I believe that's coming from Google. No, I'm sorry, Microsoft. Is to make quantum computing available for the desktop. So you can take my fastest computer, which is probably my MacBook Pro, my iPad, or my laptop computer, and solve the world's problems. Because you're going to put a quantum computer chip on it. Now that just kind of blows the mind. Quantum computing was something that IBM is doing and Google, and they have these big star rooms, these big fancy machines, all hanging down. And then Microsoft is the first to say, "We think we found a stable chip," because the thing about quantum computing is it's so fast because it has multiple. If you think about what really your digital computer does, it's made up of zeros and ones, on and off. The series ons and off that the operating system interprets and does certain things. Well, that's cool. What quantum does is it allows it to be in, it's like a ball, like a sphere. Instead of being on and off, it can be any one of those positions. Tens of thousands, millions, infinite number of on-off values available. So it gives you the ability to calculate thousands, billions, and trillions, infinite number of calculations through infinite number of channels faster. So it's going to be completely evolutionary because computer programming on quantum is going to be completely different. And that's why they're developing a lot of this AI, because I need to be able to use the AI to program quantum computers, in my opinion. I don't know this for a fact. And the quantum computers are going to be able to, they're going to have godlike powers, the ability to reason way more than you and I can, especially with a large language model that seems lifelike. It's really not. If you want to know the truth, AI is nothing more than, here's a fact, what's the next logical step? It's a guess, but it's damn accurate because it uses multiple points to come up with whatever the best logical next step is based on the input they had to that point. Well, if you can do that infinitely fast, this is like your brain going infinitely fast and just going bonkers. You're going crazy. So look out for that Majorana chip coming out here and trying to have practical computers by 2029. Microsoft, you think they're kind of lagging behind on all the AI stuff? I don't think they really are. I think Apple may be. But Apple is sneaky and may end up surprising a lot of people. So we talked about GitHub a little earlier. It is this is bad news if you own a business that uses a lot of GitHub. Right now, it's just a flat monthly subscription. They don't track your tokens. It's just everything is simple. It's very, very cost effective. And since I don't have a huge team, and nor do I want one, because I'm retired, I'm doing this for fun. I have no desire to step into that sort of world of complexity when I just want to be able to go to bed at 10 o'clock and wake up at 7. You know what I mean? I want my 11, 12 hours of sleep a night. And my dog and my wife and simple, I don't want confusion and complexity in my life. I've done that. But because of these changes, the way Copilot is going to handle it, it's going to start charging users on a credit token-based system. So if I sit down with Claude and I have, I'm a pro developer with Claude, I don't have any limits. It's $100 a month. I've never gotten close to the limits. But before I became a Max Pro, I kept running into limits, which says you can't do anymore today. So what we're doing with the GitHub Copilot system is you're not going to put any limits. You can do whatever you want to do. You're going to pay for the usage or the compute. So AI is going to be, for a large company, it's going to go from something that's, how cool is this, to, oh my God, look, our expenses just went up. Now, I understand why Microsoft's doing that. It's a profit center. And it's kind of the old bait and switch thing. I'm going to give it to you for free until you're really using it. And at which time, we're going to start charging you whatever we feel we want to. In a way, OpenAI is going to do that because I was using it to do things. And then when I got addicted to it, $20 a month for a pro plan. And I'm spending several $100s a month with it because I create a lot of content with it. My wife goes, how much money do you spend in AI a month? I said, about $1,200. She goes, wow, that's a lot. I said, remember when I let Jim go, my last employee? She goes, yeah, that was $5,000 a month. And he was in India. That's $1,200 a month replaces maybe a dozen employees because I'm doing more. So, yeah, the whole billing for tokens thing is going to make some companies grumpy, but I don't think Microsoft develops really complex software and gives it away to be used out of any sort of benevolence. If you think anyone is benevolent, even if you think Elon Musk is the greatest guy in the world, you need to really get a life because nobody is. They want to make money. Of course, the developers don't like it. There's a lot of problems. Let them work it out. I don't have to worry about it. Okay. Minima talks about money and why the economy is still doing good despite the war and all sorts of stupid shit going on. Quite frankly, it's the amount of money. It's the amount of money being invested into the AI infrastructure. Anthropic, their valuation, they're doing an IPO. The company just went from like $0 in sales last year to $1 billion in sales. The first quarter of this year, they're expected to have $9 billion in 2026 in revenue. and it's going to skyrocket from there, and I can see why. They've got the best system available at this point in time. And honestly, I don't think anyone else is going to catch up right away because they're all going different directions. So Anthropic is in a great position, and they're going to do an IPO. And that IPO, I think, is going to be about $1 trillion. The biggest one is going to be SpaceX at $1.7 trillion. I never thought there would be a trillionaire in my lifetime, but Elon Musk will beat us all there. And I don't even know why you want to be a trillionaire. It's nice to be able to fly planes and eat good food and sleep in nice hotels and take fancy vacations. There's really not a big difference between being a multimillionaire and a billionaire and a trillionaire, other than pride. SoftBank, which is a big French company, is putting $75 billion into infrastructure in France. France isn't exactly a household name for data centers, but they're doing it because there's some good climatic reasons to do it. They got some great real estate. And the potential, Anthropic is going to do $9 billion in revenue this year in 2026. They did like 500 million last year. Their current valuation is $965 billion. It's almost $1 trillion company. And they're doing $9 billion in sales. Huge number, blows me away. So price to earning ratios are out of whack because they don't care. They're looking at what's happening in the future. And it's going so fast. We can see even a company like the financial company that's investing in the infrastructure in France. Microsoft just landed a $9.6 billion contract with the Department of Defense. And the whole idea is for Microsoft to modernize the Defense Department's computer systems, how they control things. And they're going to be using Microsoft 365, Azure, and Copilot. Now, Azure is like AWS. Okay. It's the cloud program that allows you to distribute websites, applications on the cloud, so you can expand it as much as you want, contract it, and you're going to pay whatever your utilization is. So there's no bottleneck on the server side. Of course, we don't want that for the government. But you think the government's really up to it? No, their information systems are archaic. So there's a new application called Cognition, which is being funded. So it can build out their intelligent cognitive AI system and not have to depend on OpenAI, Anthropic, or Google type stuff. So it's going to be used for coding, and it's extremely brilliant, and it's a lot of money, billions and billions of dollars. $0 in revenue. They got assets, tons of liabilities, but they're being funded, just like Anthropic. $965 billion in evaluation. They received, I think, $36 billion in funding. So these guys are getting funded before they ever do anything, just based on their concept. I'm just not that smart. So here's the key takeaways from this. Uh, Agentic AI, like I said last week, every major player, Microsoft, Anthropic, Google, is shipping agents that work autonomously. You don't just go, hey, how do I do this? Like I said, on my cloud account over here on this computer, I have Cloud Cowork managing my investments, checking my email, and updating me on my daily financial position within the business. This is great. I could expand. I could go buy companies. I don't want to. And like I told you, I'm very much a Christian. I love my church. I'd rather spend more time dealing with that than dealing with growing a business. Uh, Microsoft is definitely going independent, which means they're going to reduce how much they use OpenAI. And these type of independent movements, like I said earlier, are going to accelerate. So Apple currently has an open relationship with OpenAI. Is that going to change? There are other companies, other big companies you'd know, dealing with Claude. Claude's getting contracts with the large businesses to develop stuff. These type of, like, we'll provide the AI, you build all the fancy stuff over top of it. People are gonna want to become their own AI, and it's going to take something of size to do that. So Claude has that, OpenAI has that, Google has that, Microsoft has that, and quite frankly, uh, Facebook or Meta has that available too. And a lot of companies who really get using a lot of tokens, they're going to have to be careful because they're going to have to adjust their budgets because they're going to be spending more money than they used to. And you're a big business, depending on flat pricing on things, and you're doing incredibly well and you're making tons of money, and suddenly, boom, now we got to pay 5% to Microsoft for Copilot. Yeah, enjoy the free ride until it's gone, but don't plan your business that way. And there's really no end to the amount of money going in to the infrastructure. When President Trump talks about trillions of dollars in investments, there's two things going on. First of all, we're reshoring physical manufacturing. I make cans. So it's taking tons of money out of Asia and Europe that used to be manufacturing, and it's doing it here now. So people can avoid tariffs. It's kind of genius, if you ask me. That's building up our base economy. We should never encourage manufacturing offshore because the old school of thought was if the rest of the world starts enjoying some of our success that we have in the States, they'll become more like the United States. And it's exactly the opposite. It's good that they have prosperity, but they're not innovators. Look at China. There are cities there that look like, Shanghai. They're just amazing. They're gorgeous. Way better than any cities in the States. But they're not innovating anything. They're stealing U.S. technology. And of course, they are doing government top-down management of the economy. And I know a lot of people in the States want that, but if you believe communism is the answer, please go live in Russia, Cuba, Venezuela, or China. There are a few extremely happy Chinese people in the right areas because of their circumstances. The vast majority are so poor, it's not even funny. Venezuela, highest standard of living in South America until Hugo Chavez came along back in 1999. You can go look at the output. It's just communism doesn't work. I'm sorry, kids. You want to do nothing and get paid for it? Get really good at AI stuff, because you can have AI do the stuff for you. Look at me. I'm living well because I have my AI thing doing this. And before long, I won't even have to, you know what? I'll have a robot, to clean up after my dogs, mow my lawn, vacuum the house, and clean the toilets, whatever needs to be done. Those bots are going to do it all for you. If you don't believe that, well, there's no stopping it. There is no stopping it. So that's one of the most important things to understand about AI. You're not going to stop it. No politician wagging their finger and barking about how it belongs to the people instead of. It isn't going to stop it. Who do you want to control it? Us or the other guy? It's got to be us. So I appreciate the amount of money and the investment and the freedom that President Trump has given the AI industry. Let's hope we don't squander this opportunity to help the world, because that's what it's going to do. Look at Elon Musk. His goal is to help humanity go otherworldly. Great. I believe he's going to do it. And he thinks there's going to be more bots than humans. Great. Cool. I don't drive his car, but I would. I don't even like to drive. I was telling my wife the other day, I said, I'm going to get a Tesla because I don't want to drive. I don't like driving. I've had 2 severe car accidents. I just assume not drive. So, okay. I promised you I would do Notebook LM. So hopefully I don't have all this family stuff. My kids were here. My grandkids are here. The dogs are still here. The grandkids are gone, but the dogs stayed. And just being grandfather is a big job. And I have friends who are ill, and I need to go see them. But we're all getting to the point where we could just really point. So keep your friends close. Keep your family closer. And we're going to talk to you next week, hopefully, about Learn LI.